Hello.
Hello.
I'm back, but I'm switching rooms.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. So we're going to learn about ducks?
Yes.
Awesome.
Everybody likes ducks.
Okay,
You
You're
good?
back.
back to my favorite spot. Is my internet breaking up tonight?
Slightly, but it's not too bad.
No. It's,
Okay. For now.
For now, yeah. So who wants to start? Courtney? Heidi?
rock, paper, scissors.
I'm not good at this game. I lose.
Well, do you want to start with, should we just go alphabetical order?
Yeah, we can do that. So I guess that would be probably me with the Aylesbury.
Yeah.
First. So let me get to the right page here. Okay. So there's two types of Aylesbury duck. There's the exhibition strain and the utility strain. We've never had the utility strain. We only have the exhibition strain. So they are much larger duck than the utility ducks. They are critically endangered. So in order for them to be in the critical status with the Livestock Conservancy group, they need to have fewer than 200 annual birds registered as breeding birds in America and fewer than 500 globally. So they are one of the only critically endangered duck breeds. There's lots of breeds that are in different statuses. They were created in England in the 1800s. They were actually the primary meat bird before the Pekin breed was created. Like I said, they're extremely large and they have white skin, so they're actually make out a very nice dressed bird. I have to say this properly so that videos don't get flagged when we put them up on platforms. They make a very nice table bird because they clean very, very nice. They are a fast-growing bird. They can reach a market weight of 5 pounds at 7 to 9 weeks old. And the mature males and females will weigh 10 to 9 pounds. They have very light bone structure, which you would think for a large bird they would have a heavy bone structure, but they were created to have the light bone structure so they have more meat weight. They were added to the American Standards of Perfection in 1874. And they are not a dual purpose by any means. They are basically, anybody who has them is for their conservation efforts or for meat breeds, because the females only lay 35 to 125 eggs a year. However, they're very hardy breeds, so you can end up getting some winter eggs from them. Their eyes should be gray-blue, and they have a very distinctive bill compared to the other ducks. It's very long and broad, and it's pink in color. And then they have very horizontal stance, so they should almost be parallel with the ground. And they have a very thick keel that hangs very low and almost actually rubs right on the ground. And they're very friendly, calm, docile. They'll stick close to home. They're not the best foragers, but ours do like to get into the ponds and the grass and look for bugs, and they're very personable. Anytime I go out there, they come running up. They want to get their little chest scratches, and they're very friendly breed. They're good with the kids. They are quite large compared to other ducks just because of their stance. Them being more horizontal, they're longer than other ducks look. They're very comparable in size to our female Sebastopol geese. So they are pretty big. They can't do ramps very well, so like a raised coop wouldn't be good for them. But other than that, they're pretty much same general care as any other duck breed. Just be mindful with like free ranging. If you have a bunch of sticks and twigs sticking out of the ground, they could catch their keel on that and injure themselves. But other than that, I would recommend them for people who are trying to get into meat birds, or anybody who's looking to help with the conservation efforts of them, because there is so few people who are actually breeding them. Then what would be our, I guess I can answer questions, but that was just kind of my overview of them. I can't really compare them to the other breeds in this Duck Talks because every other breed is kind of a dual purpose breed that we'll be talking about tonight. The Aylesbury were just kind of added in here because they fit in the same weight category. But again, they are not. They're far from dual purpose. You can end up with 35 eggs total. So I guess what would be next? Muscovy?
Mm. I don't have a in detail explanation.
I just wanted to mainly do that for the ales.
But
Oh no.
For either purpose. Am I breaking up?
We can only
Girls. Not so much. They are, but they aren't. Like in our winters, which are similar to yours, I have to keep them locked in more because of the big coronicles on their face. That actually makes them get colder faster than any other duck breed that I have. They lay around like about 180 eggs a year. I think that of all the ducks that I have, they're one of the best layers that I have. They're bred to be like a table bird, so they do grow really, really fast. Sometimes they can develop leg problems. Because I do mostly pets, for a larger duck breed like that, I would say, because like when you go into the store to buy food for your babies, they tell you to do like the starter food that's like a high percentage protein. If you're going to keep them as pets, I would feed that at first, but then after a couple of weeks, you start to like cut down the protein of the feed so that they're not putting on that weight so fast. Like, you want them to do that if it's going to be a meat bird. You want them to put the weight on. But if it's a pet, you don't want their legs to give out from underneath them because they gain too much weight too quick. I think that they make really, really good pets. Like, of all the different breeds that I have, the Muscovies and the calls are like the most pet-like to me. Like, and they don't quack. males hiss, females. So, like, if you live with neighbors, they don't make a lot of noise to bug the neighbors. However, they can fly. They're one of the only breeds that have that can fly, and they can fly like way, way up in the sky.
They,
Yeah, I think that's what I have for.
the Muscovy, they're quite friendly, right? Like they make
Yes.
good pets. And even though they fly, do they tend to stay close to home?
Yeah, mine don't go anywhere. I have a field that has welded wire around it, and then there's electric fence around that. And when they fly, they usually stay inside that fence. Every once in a while, they'll fly outside, and then they can't figure out how to fly back in.
Oh. Just, if we're doing alphabetical order, I guess you're up again, Courtney, with the Pekin.
Pekins are the same thing. They could be used for both purposes. They lay a few more eggs a year. A Pekin's usually around 200 eggs. So they're a little bit better layers. They're friendly, but I suppose it really depends on the duck too and how they're raised. Like if you raise it and carry it around with you all the time, then it's gonna let you carry it around. But for the most part, you know, they're like kind of adore me from afar type of breed. They're you don't if they're gonna be your pet, you don't want them to gain that weight real quick. So the same goes for Muscovy and Pekin as far as the diet. Like if you want it to be a pet, you should lower that protein sooner so that they're not putting all that weight on their legs. Pekins are known for leg problems. I have many Pekins. Some of them came to me with leg problems. Some of them like developed them as they got older because I have quite a few that are like 5 or 6, maybe even older than that. I have one that is actually 13 years old.
Yeah. We have 2 that live in our basement. They're our pets.
That's cool.
They don't handle our weather very good, so I felt sorry for them and brought them in.
Mine did great with the weather. It's the Muscovies were the ones that didn't do so good when it was like 20 below.
Even the lowering the feed, that's good advice if somebody's going to breed them too. For pets or breeding, like you actually kind of want to keep your breeders on the lower end of the weight category, and it'll help increase fertility. And,
right.
Yeah. And just give them that longevity to their life, especially because most of the feeds are made for finishing birds. So they make them so they pack on the weight a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
So then Heidi with Rouen.
Okay, so Rouens are also like a heavyweight breed of domestic duck. You can get them in exhibition or decoration. They call them decoration. They're mostly bred for meat purposes, and they originated in France in the 19th century. The exhibition type Rouen, they have the deep long keel too, like the Aylesbury, and they have like a boat-shaped profile. Like they're kind of like, because they're so big and bulky, they have refined markings, especially the penciling on the females, like around her face and stuff, and around her body. You can see it in their feathers where it's kind of like penciled in or shaded in. They usually lay about 50 to 125 eggs a year. So they're not huge egg layers either. The drakes have a green head with a white collar, black tail, and ashy brown tail feathers. Whereas the female is brown. She's pretty plain. The girls have tan eye markings, and they have like blue spectrum feathers. And the production weight is 6 to 8 pounds, but the standard are between 9 to 12 pounds, and they look more like a mallard color. And they are on the watch list for the livestock thingy. But yeah, they're a new breed that I just got into raising this year. I'm hoping to expand them and try and get them more exhibition type than the standard, and I've got the standard mostly. But they are really friendly. They're kind of in your face, really broody. Like people say that if you're going to have ducks that are going to go broody, Rouen is probably one of your better bets that will go broody on you. And I've got 3 of them in my coop right now that are broody and trying to steal everybody else's eggs.
My Muscovies do that.
Yeah, there's definitely the breeds that are better for broody or hatching.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like they'll steal anybody's eggs, even a goose egg. Like they'll try to steal whatever they can find. But they're one of my newer breeds, so I'm just kind of learning about them as we go. But they were kind of thrown on me. Eric, you need them.
And then you're next again, Heidi.
With my Saxonys.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Saxony is a German breed of duck. They said it was bred in the 1930s because of the Second World War as a meat and egg layer. But they were only recognized in 1957. They're bred for dual purpose, egg and meat. And their weight is about 3.5 kg. And their eggs are white. Saxonys physically resemble like the Silver Appleyards. Like their appearance or whatever is very similar to what Silver Appleyards look like. And they have only one color variety, which is like a buff blue mallard. The drakes have a grayish blue head with a white ring around its neck, and it's like a white chestnut color breast. Rusted chestnut colored breast feathers in the front. And the girls are kind of like like a tanny brown color with white, little specks of white on them with their eye markings. They have beautiful, beautiful eye markings. And yellow bill and orange feet and legs for the Saxonys, and they are considered on the threatened list. And they will lay about 280 eggs a year. And super friendly. They are probably by far like one of my favorite duck breeds because they are so friendly. Like they're another one that's in your face, needing the attention, loving the attention, pick me up and carry me.
And then I guess
That's all I got.
the last breed for tonight would be the Silver Appleyard. So again, it's another breed that was created in England. And it come to America quite a few years before it was actually accepted into the American Standards of Perfection. They weren't accepted until 2000. So they are kind of a newer breed in exhibition and showing. They're a large duck, reaching market weight of 6 to 8 pounds in 10 to 12 weeks. So they're another one, if you feed them high protein, good grains, forage, they're going to put on weight exceptionally fast. It's a little slower than like the Pekin would, but Holder Reed rated them as one of the best layers in the heavyweight category. The females can lay 220 to 265 eggs a year. So it really kind of is dependent on how cold your winter is. And I'm going to say cold because our Appleyards will lay through the winter without light until it gets too cold. So I might be the only person on the internet that is going to say this, but I honestly think it's dependent on weather temperatures over actual lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So in our really cold snaps, they'll quit laying. But if we have a very mild year, they'll continue to lay all the way until our first cold snap. So if that doesn't happen until January or February, they're going to lay all the way up to that is what ours have done. We do have a couple different lines of them, and some of the lines are better than other lines for laying purposes. So I think that it's also dependent on that, but that's going to be the same across the board with every breed. You're going to have your breeders who focus more on egg production, and you're going to have your breeders who the egg production was maybe kind of on the back burner while they were focusing on something else. So you're just going to have to ask if that's something that's really important to you when you're buying birds. They are active foragers, and they will stay close to home when free ranging. They actually really like the attention of humans and other animals. If they hear you, they want to get to you. They don't necessarily like to be touched, but they like to be around you. So if us or the kids are out doing anything, often the Appleyards will be following us around. They have a leaner meat because they are better foragers. They're very friendly, calm, and docile personalities. And they are part of the threatened status with the Livestock Conservancy. So they're not critical, but unless their numbers come up, they could drop down. Pretty much every breed we have here is listed with the Livestock Conservancy. That's kind of what got us started into ducks, was for the conservation efforts of them. So I wanted to say though, to thank you to Courtney for coming on to talk about the breeds that Heidi and I didn't have, so that people could learn about all the different breeds in this category, not just the ones that we particularly have. If there's any questions about breeds or just any general questions at all.
When you were talking about the cold snap where your Appleyards stop laying, what threshold are you talking about? Because I think I'm from Northwestern Ontario, so I think my cold snap might be different if you guys are on mountain time than yours.
Yeah, no, that's valid question. So usually if it's in like that minus 30 Celsius, they'll kind of start to slow down, but they'll continue to lay. When we hit around the minus 40 Celsius, that's usually it for the rest of winter. So once we first hit those minus 40 temperatures, then they stop laying at that point, and they won't pick back up until spring. So if
that's ballparking where I'm at too. So I was just wondering if you were talking about like -15 as like a cold snap or like.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a valid question. I should have said that. Your bigger weight breeds, like any of the breeds we talked about tonight, they're going to be more cold hardy than your lower weight breeds. So for people in the northern climate, if they're looking for a dual purpose or even an egg layer, I'll always try to steer them towards a heavier weight breed over the lighter weight breeds, just simply because they have that extra fat layer, which makes them more cold hardy birds. So you're going to have less issues coming up throughout the winter that you're going to have to deal with. And so that's, the Appleyards are actually one of my favorite. Like, I guess Heidi and I both have a favorite that we talked about tonight, but they're really good, like farm homesteading type duck, any of the bigger weight guys.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I had one more question about, I think Heidi, you were talking about the Pekin Cross, that you felt bad for them because they were cold, so you brought them in the house. I have some Pekin Crosses. I don't know what they're crossed with, but they seem to do fairly well this winter, and it was quite cold. So I was just wondering, or maybe I just didn't know what I was looking for. I'm not very experienced with ducks, but
my one duck, he was injured when he was a baby. He got snagged by one of my older ducks that was like 3 days older than him, and he actually ended up fracturing his neck. So he kind of gets special privilege in my house.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
fair.
that's why he gets to come inside the house and hang out for the winter, and we don't want him to be alone, so we bring his brother in and they hang out together. So
Okay,
that's
cool.
that's the only reason. No, like I'm pretty sure like they would handle winter really, really, really well, but he's kind of got like a kink in his neck, so he can't groom himself like normal ducks would.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, he gets spoiled. He gets to go camping with us, and he gets to go hang out with us, and yeah, he's a house duck.
All right. Mine seem a little messy to come inside, but good for you.
We do a lot of cleaning. A lot of cleaning.
Okay. Well, thanks, ladies. It was very informative. I appreciate it. I'm going to log off, but thank you.